Hello, mighty Chelsea supporters. Welcome back to Dynamatrix Football. It's so beautiful to have each and every one of you back on the channel today. Thank you so much for tuning in once again. It's been an incredible weekend of football across the world, specifically in England, particularly for Chelsea fans and for Manchester United and, of course, Liverpool fans. It has been a very scintillating and, of course, frustrating weekend, by the way. Thank you so much for tuning in again today. First, I'd like you to subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed. And I want you to turn on your notification bell after subscribing. And of course, do like the video and leave your comments to let me know what you think, what can be improved and what can be done to make this channel better. Welcome back to this particular week of madness that has happened, that we have seen. Yes, I did not. This is my first upload this entire week. There was a Champions League match. I did not do a review. I did not do a preview. And of course, there was no preview to this weekend's match against Norwich City. I'd like to apologize for that, first of all, and say that it was totally unplanned. It was just due to situations beyond my control. Let me just leave it at that. It was due to situations beyond my control and things that I cannot discern, things that are beyond the scope of this particular channel. But then, so this is what I'm going to do. Instead of a purely Chelsea video, I'm going to do a blue screen video. So if you've been following the channel for a while, you know that I'll do a preview, I'll do a review, I'll do a preview, I'll do a review for each match. And regardless of whether it is the FA Cup, Carling Cup, or Champions League. So the blue screen videos are the ones that are a little bit general, right? They are a mixture of everything that has happened in that particular week. So it's going to be a blue screen video, more from a Chelsea fan point of view, talking about the events, the big talking points in a particular footballing week. And yes, let's get into it. Let's start with what happened yesterday. Mighty Chelsea defeating Norwich City. 7 goals. It was a 7-goal thriller. 7th heaven in the words of Peter Dury. I mean, coming into that match, it was a very, very epic and sensational match in the sense that you could have missed the first 45 minutes and watch the second 45 minutes and still have a very thrilling and satisfying experience. Yeah, and that shows you how much of edge Chelsea had over Norwich City. It was total domination, total demolition, total destruction, and of course total devastation for Norwich City. It's like they just can't. It can be worse. It can get worse for them than where they are right now, losing 7-0 to, of course, the Champions League winner. And for us as Chelsea fans, it was everything we wanted to see. It was everything we wanted to see. So I was watching the match against Malmo, and I saw the sad incidences. Lukaku limping off, Werner limping off. But for me at that moment, yeah, it felt bad. I felt sad because injuries are never a thing you want to wish for your players. But at that moment, I saw that this was a window of opportunity for us to perhaps be back to where we were last season, right? We had to, I just wanted to see. There's a theory I've been testing in my head, and I just wanted to see it play out. And I wanted to see what was going to happen. And it was incredible because we got 4 goals in that match. And yesterday we got 7 goals in another match without the 2 main attacking players that we have in Timo Werner and Romelu Lukaku. And one thing that I want to say I saw in yesterday's match, amidst every other thing, is that the predictability to Chelsea suddenly disappeared. So it's too early to talk about the signings and whether anything. I mean, I'm not getting into that right now. But I want to say that one thing that Chelsea have become, even with the introduction of Lukaku, is that we have become predictable. Even with Werner playing alongside him, we have somewhat become predictable in the sense that, and as Tuchel also said that that it's play teams. Oh God, teams have now learned how to freeze out, attacking players, especially Lukaku. So they understand that if you can get Lukaku out of the game, our attacking options or our striking options or striking threats, let me use the word threats, gets greatly hampered and limited. And they did it well so for several matches. But with the absence of Lukaku, with the absence of Werner, the predictability around our game and around our attack suddenly evaporated. And we saw defenders coming back to score, midfielders scoring goals left, right, and center. And it's beautiful to see that. And I will take that over. I will take that all day. I will take that all day. I will take that over us having strikers and not scoring. I would take this, what we're having right now. Of course, it was Norwich City, and we cannot be too excited. But to have defeated them in that manner, and to have done it with such fluidity, with such remarkable brilliance, with so much sagacity to it and swag that were brought into that game, it shows that this works and this is sweet and this is good. And yesterday's match was the match that you could, if you want to talk about it, you could talk about it all day. There were so many positives, there were so many pluses, there were so many talking points. Callum Hudson-Odoi getting a goal, Mason Mount with a thriller, getting a hat-trick, Reece James on the scoreline, Ben Chilwell getting his goal. I was rooting for RLC to score, but of course he was selfless and he gave that ball to Mason Mount to get his hat-trick. Beautiful football from a Chelsea point. And of course, we're clear, 1 point clear on top of the table. We've got 7 goals plus, it's just everything. It's just beautiful. It's just a great day for us as Chelsea fans. And coming to today, it was like, okay, Liverpool is just a point behind us. They're going against Manchester United. And if there is any team right now that can stop Liverpool and pull a stunt or a surprise defeat, it was, on paper, it was Manchester United or either Man City. It was either going to be Man City or Manchester United. And, Liverpool have survived the Chelsea test, the Man City test, and then they came against Manchester United. And I felt like, okay, on paper, the rivalry is ageless, the enmity is ageless. They're flying at Old Trafford, Ronaldo is on pitch. On paper, it looks like an incredible match. And if you were watching that match and you listen to Peter Drury and his eloquence, his grandiloquence, the way he came into the match, he sat back to enjoy the match. I wanted to see a fight. I wanted to see a brawl. I wanted to see a very technical, a very tactical, a very tough football match, 90 minutes of football, but it ended up as a comic strip. I don't know what to call it. It was just comical. It was laughable. It was scandalous. It was treacherous. It was treasonous. It was scandalous. It was humiliating. It was a disaster class. It was something you don't want to see. All the negative adjectives you can use in this world will describe that match. The outing from Manchester United. And for goodness sake, it wasn't an incredible Liverpool performance. It was just a match where Liverpool were in the right place at the right time and leveraged on all the wrong things that Manchester United did. They capitalized on every mistake. They were putting Manchester United to the sword for every single mistake. And from a Chelsea fan's point of view, yes, Manchester United is that team that I would never support. And I have for a while been enjoying all the tough time they've had. But honestly speaking, I feel like this is bad. This is really bad. This is not good. For a top English club, this is bad for business. Teams like Manchester United, Barcelona, Inter, AC Milan, Juve, Real Madrid, Valencia, Atletico Madrid, Liverpool, those are teams that you may hate them, But you know that when they are not doing well, it affects the sport, because hate them or not, they are legacy brands. They've been there for years. I'm a Chelsea supporter, but Chelsea is not one of those legacy football clubs, brands. Yeah, Arsenal is a legacy football brand. Manchester United, Liverpool, those are like, they are not big for being big sake. These are historical clubs. These are legacy clubs. And for them to be wallowing in this kind of quagmire, in this cesspit of ugliness, is pathetic to say. And I really, really feel that it's time for Manchester United as a club to sit back and ask themselves some very strong questions and probably turn themselves in another direction. I am not an Ole out or Ole in person. I am just saying perhaps it is time to consider that option, right? Ask yourself the difficult questions and do what needs to be done, because you can't have those kind of players and still be playing that way. It shows that something is wrong somewhere, and it is big, and it is huge. And that is where Chelsea were. That was where Chelsea was a couple of months ago, about the same, almost a year ago, where Chelsea was. You had all the big names on paper, you had all the Galacticos on paper, but the scoreline and the performances and the index and the statistics was showing something else. And credit to Roman Abramovich. He saw that it was time to make a change, and it didn't spare it. So, for Manchester United, I'm absolutely gutted. I feel sad. I feel sorry. I wanted them to win so that we can, of course, expand the gap between us and Liverpool. But it didn't happen, and it is what it is. Yeah, it is what it is. It is what it is. So, I feel sorry for United fans. I hope you guys take this on the chin and move on. I hope that your management does the right thing, and I hope that things get better for United pretty soon. Tottenham did lose against West Ham 1-0. I saw that match. It was pretty much a situation where West Ham had a plan, score a goal, and then defend with, put all the men behind the ball and make sure that Tottenham cannot do anything. While we were watching Liverpool against Manchester United, there was also drama going on in Spain where Real Madrid was playing Barcelona, and it ended 2-1 in favor of Real Madrid, of course. The man Sergio Aguero coming to rescue upon a goal for Barcelona to save them from an absolute disaster once again. Yes, it's a very funny time in football. It's a very, very, very interesting time in football. But for us, we are on top of the table. We've got the highest goal difference. Do we still have the highest goal difference? I'm not sure anymore. I'm not sure. I don't think we still have the highest goal difference. But all things looking good for now. Timo Werner is still out. Lukaku is out. Pulisic is out. We play Southampton during the week in the FA or Carling Cup. It's no longer Carling Cup. It's the Carabao Cup. I think it's the League Cup. The League Cup, which is also the Carabao Cup. Let's say it's time for it's a good time for some of our players to rest, and for people like Ziyech and some other French players to fight their way back into the squad and prove a point and show that they still have what it takes to be part of this moving train and this sensational team called Chelsea FC. Thank you so much for tuning in once again. I hope that you have enjoyed this episode of Daily Matrix Football. Yes, I'll be back. There won't be midweek. For the midweek matches, I'm not going to be doing a review. But of course, weekend, I'll be back with the preview, the review,